Good evening. We present the news summary. Further restrictions to limit the movement of people in public places may apply soon, depending on the COVID-19 situation in the country. The Attorney General, Frank Ali, made the statement in a press conference this morning where he gave clarifications on the legal aspects of the actual movement restrictions. This morning, Mr. Ali attended a law enforcement meeting at State House, attended by President Danny Ford, the police commissioner, among other law enforcement officers. Mr. Ali said people should leave their homes only for medical reasons or to get food supplies. Essential services workers who are on the official list are allowed to go to work. He said that those who do not respect the restrictions are subject to being prosecuted. It is very likely that in the coming days, new cases of COVID-19 related to the case of the 26-year-old man who tested positive on Monday may be picked up in the country. This is because it is around this time that people who had contact with the man, if they were exposed to the virus, may start showing symptoms. It was the Public Health Commissioner, Dr. Jude GEDEON, who made the statement in a press conference on the COVID-19 situation in the country this afternoon. Beauvalon Bay Hotel is the only place having people in quarantine. Most of the people on home quarantine have been discharged.
It is very likely that in the days that are coming, we may pick up new cases. Because from the time he started having symptoms, which was the end of the month, today is reaching the 10th day, 9th to 10th day. These are around the time that if there were other transmission, we'll be seeing cases coming. We are on high alert. Right now, there's nobody lined up for testing because nobody is showing any symptom. Yesterday, we did 6 tests of close contacts who were having symptoms, but they were all negative. They have been put into quarantine for further monitoring. So the message I'd like to communicate to the public today is that everybody who has nothing to do outside the home, on the street, stays at home. You go out to buy essential provision or to access your work if it's an essential work. They are important for people to respect so that if there are community transmission happening, we break the chain of transmission very fast.
As of today, the Cemetery Services Agency will no longer be digging graves for relatives to bury their dead. The operation manager from the Cemetery Services Agency, Norman Renaud, says this is in line with advice from the Public Health Authority to reduce the number of workers on duty. Mr. Renaud says that this is a temporary measure.
We are now supposed to do only reopening, but no new grave for the time being for the 3 weeks. As for now, the cemetery will not be able to be cleaning as usual, but as all things return to normal, we're starting to do our cleaning.
2 doctors caring for COVID-19 patients in isolation at the family hospital in Perseverance have described treating the disease as very challenging and emotionally stressful. But speaking exclusively to SBC News, the ICU medics say they feel well prepared with enough medicines and equipment. They are part of a team currently providing round-the-clock treatment to the patients with coronavirus.
These are 2 of the medics for whom we've been clapping our hands in thanks. Mother of 2, Dr. Saka Viktorova, who's practiced here for nearly 20 years, and Dr. Ashish Alexander, who arrived last year. At the isolation unit in Perseverance, the 2 anaesthetists care for 9 patients in 3 daily shifts.
It is extremely challenging, given the disease process itself. It's far from the usual sick patients that we've seen on an ICU.
I would say that it's very stressful, not physically only, but emotionally, because I had to leave my family.
Inside the unit, the condition of those suffering from COVID-19 ranges from mild to critical, requiring intensive care with ventilation. But the team feels equal to the task.
In terms of material, at present we feel well resourced in terms of personal protective equipment, etc., and all supportive medications and other paraphernalia that we need.
Morale is very high and positive because we successfully treated our first patient in intensive care.
The doctors live in specially designated accommodation and receive 3 daily meals from airline caterer Sky Chef, taking care to look after themselves as well as their patients.
When I finish work here, I do a couple of kilometers on the road.
Personally, for me, it's basically music and chats with my family on phone.
Were you aware that the whole country's been clapping for you?
Yeah, it was very emotional. When I see the huge amount of public clapping outside from the offices, all police cars around the hospital came, hooting. It was, for me, emotional. I cry, I have to say.
A moment of reflection for those on the front line in this country's battle with a medical challenge like never before.
ELINE Moses has been appointed as the 7th member of the Truth, Reconciliation and National Unity Commission. She was sworn in at State House in the presence of President Faure and the chairperson of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, Gabrielle McIntyre. ELINE Moses has for several years been active in the field of human rights. She is also the secretary of the Citizens Democracy Watch Seychelles, following 3 years as chairperson of the association.
Depuis plusieurs années, ELINE Moses est très active dans le domaine droits humains.
Apologies for this technical error. Air Seychelles has stopped its domestic flights services following new regulations to restrict movement of people during the pandemic. The Chief Executive Officer of Air Seychelles, REMCO ALTHUIS, says Air Seychelles will still operate special domestic flights for the essential service workers. Air Seychelles is also using its 2 Airbus A320neo to operate cargo flights to and from Abu Dhabi, Dubai and South Africa. The first cargo flight was operated from Abu Dhabi to Seychelles on the 6th of April. The flight carried 10 tons of food products, medical supplies and courier.
We have agreed with the government that for essential services, for instance, everybody who is on the essential services list, they will contact us and then we will do a flight to Pralin. Right now we are mostly focusing on pick up cargo from the nearby cargo hubs, Johannesburg and Dubai, for instance, and other destinations if demand arises.
In regards to the domestic flights, what if there's demand by the hospital for emergency cases?
To us, that is the same as a charter request. So if we have a charter request, we will have 1 aircraft ready to be sent out to Pralin at a moment's notice. So we can do that very quickly.
And as I announced earlier, ELINE Moses has been appointed as the 7th member of the Truth, Reconciliation and National Unity Commission member. She was sworn in at State House in the presence of President Faure and the chairperson of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, Gabrielle McIntyre. ELINE Moses has for several years been active in the field of human rights. She is also the secretary of the Citizens Democracy Watch Seychelles, where she worked for several years as chairperson of the association.
Today I've been sworn in as the 7th member of the Truth Reconciliation Commission, and it's an honor for me to serve my country. As a civil society advocate, I usually go out into the communities, to the schools, and through different projects I've been able to encourage other people to exercise their right to participate in governance. And so when I heard that there was this vacancy, I reflected a lot about it. I've had the chance to listen to the work of the Commission over the past few months, and I feel that I've got an important role to play as a citizen of Seychelles.
And the situation of COVID-19 around the world, confirmed cases around the world is around 1.5 million and almost 90,000 people have died from the virus. This was a news summary. Thank you for your attention.